Hello everyone and welcome to another random bits and pieces segment from my brain, and today, sit a while for we are playing some more Franchise Hockey Manager 6 as part of a very good Ottawa Senators team. Alright, so we are going to be clinching the East. Actually, it's done already. So now there's 4 games left for us to play in April. It's pretty exciting. We get to see who we are going to be facing in the first round. Looks like it's going to be somebody from our division. Looks like it's going to be either Toronto, Boston, or Montreal. Again, you know, if you look at the standings, Tampa Bay is third with 66 points. Yeah. So that division is not very strong. So we are heading to the playoffs. Roman Amerlik is probably going to come back right on time for the start of the playoffs, or maybe he's gonna miss the first game or two. I did recall Derek Morris to play in his stead. Prior to shooting the video, I went with I tried to go with a sentimental signing and sign Maxim Sushinsky to an extension, but he doesn't want to negotiate with me, so I'm gonna have to let him go. He's a star and a half right now, and I just remember that he used to be good for me in the past, so that's not a big deal, I suppose. So we've got a lot on our plate today, so let's get going here and see who we're gonna face, and then see what we're gonna look like in the playoffs. Roger Nielsen is playing his next contract in those playoffs. I already mentioned that. So we are facing the Carolina Hurricanes in the first game in April. We're facing them at home. The Hurricanes are not going to be in the playoffs. They are 29, 41, and 7. And they are 11th in the East. We are 3-0 against Carolina. We have not lost a single game against them this year. Let's get going. Alright, they are sending Marc Denis, and we are going with Mike Bonhomme in net. And we lost 3-2. Alright, we don't want to get into a losing streak going into the playoffs. We want to hit the playoffs in stride, so hopefully we win the next 3 games. Alright, so we completely outshot them 50-27, so Denis had a pretty good game. Andrew Castles was the first star of the game. He had 2 assists. Joe Nieuwendyk was the second star. He scored both of our goals. And then Marc Denis, like I said, had a pretty good game. So 48 saves and third star for him. We had 12,908 people in attendance. So Carolina took a 1-0 lead in the first, and then the rest of the goals were all scored in the second, so Carolina actually took a 3-0 lead, and then Nieuwendyk scored from Derek Morris and Pavel Datsyuk, and Joe Nieuwendyk again from Datsyuk and Thornton. So Derek Morris got his first point. I believe that's in his career. I don't think he's played in the NHL yet. So first game, first point for Derek Morris. I am not expecting for him to be a point per game player. Alright, so that was a loss. That sucks. Alright, Rod Brydon is still very happy. We went 9-3-3 in March. Alright, and Roman Amerlik is ready to go back to practice. Usually that means that he's about 2 weeks away. So alright, so now we're playing a team that's even worse than Carolina. We are playing the last team in the East. We are playing the Atlanta Thrashers in Atlanta. We are 3-0 against them. So Atlanta is 19-54-6. So hopefully we can win that. Won all the games against them so far this season. Mike Bonhomme is going to be in net for us. He's going to face Cujo. Alright, and we won this one 5-2, so back on the winning track. I like it a little bit better, especially right before the playoffs. So we outshot them 40-23. Alexei Yashin was the first star of the game. He had a goal and 3 assists. Daniel Alfredson was the second star with 2 goals and 2 assists, and Sheldon Surrey, third star, a goal and an assist. Let's see. Atlanta took a 1-0 lead in the first, and then Alfredson scored from Shara and Yashin, and then Atlanta scored again. So Atlanta was winning 2-1 after 1. But then we scored twice in the second period. Sheldon Surrey on the power play from Alfredson and Yashin, and then Salo from Nieuwendyk. And then we scored 2 more in the third. Alfredson on the power play from Surrey and Yashin from Alfredson. 5-2 was the final score. Alright, so all of those players are on the waivers. Paul Isobart, not gonna pick him up. Tommy Shodin, not gonna pick him up. He played for us for a few years. Peter Aola, not gonna pick him up either. Eric Lindros has a memorable game. Feels like we haven't had a lot of news like that about Lindros, who was a really good player. He just had a lot of injury issues. It feels like, oh wow, it was a 10-6 game. So Lindros had a goal and 4 assists against Florida. And in that same game, Marcus Naslund had a hat-trick, 3 goals. And Mark Rickey, same game, a goal and 4 assists as well. So they probably play together. That was a pretty good performance for them. Alright, so in 2 days we play in Long Island against the Islanders. Speaking of which, today is March 4th. So yesterday Montreal played in Long Island, and Johnny Boychuk took a skate near the eye. It was pretty scary. According to the message from his brother that he's posted on Twitter, I think he's going to be okay. There's not a whole lot of information as of the recording that I'm making right now about that, but that was pretty scary. Hopefully Johnny Boychuk is fine. So Shane Knighty and Jim Campbell are available on why not? I'm gonna claim Shane Knighty. Why not? Could use a little bit of depth. I'm losing a lot of D-man after the season that I am not renewing. Most of them are not, you know, all that good or anything like that, but I'm still losing some, and I need to have people that I can call back up if I get hit with injuries. Strong night for Peter Bundra, who had a hat-trick. He scored all the goals for his team against Florida. Pretty good. Alright, we are playing the Islanders. Islanders are going to be in the playoffs. They are 5th in the East with a 47-23-10 record. That's pretty good. We are 2-1 against the Islanders this year, so let's see what we can do here. Tim Thomas is going to be playing in net for us. He's going to face Rick DiPietro. And we won 2-0. A little shout out here shortly before the playoff starts. That's pretty cool. Shots were even, 28 apiece. Tim Thomas was the first star with 28 saves, obviously, so good performance. Dick Tarnstrom was the second star. He didn't get a point. And Mike Sillinger, third star with an assist. So the scoring happened in the third, so we were scoreless going into the third period, and then Daniel Alfredson scored his 35th on the power play from Sheldon Surrey and Alexei Yashin, and then Brian McCabe scored shorthanded from Dackel and Mike Sillinger. It was 2-0. That's our final score. If we play like that in the playoffs, we're going to do pretty good. Right, Mike Fisher can now play right wing, or he's getting more comfortable playing right wing, which is a good thing. Alright, and we are playing the last game of the regular season. It's going to be at home against the Leafs, which, depending on what happens, here, that might decide if we are facing Toronto or Montreal in the first round. It won't be Boston. We cannot face Boston in the first round. But if Toronto beats us and that Montreal loses their last game, we might end up playing Montreal in the first round. But if we beat Toronto, we are ensuring that that's the team we're facing. We're 2-2 against the Leafs this year. They are 42-30-9 and holding on the last playoff spot right now. So again, with a win here, we are going to ensure we're facing Toronto in the first round. So Steve Shields is going to be in net for Toronto. We're going with Sam Thomas, who is fresh out of a shutout. And we won 4-0, so we are facing the Toronto Maple Leafs in the first round of the playoffs. Hopefully we can beat them. So we outshot them 44-22. Joe Thornton was the first star of the game. He had a goal and 2 assists. Marian Hossa was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Sheldon Surrey, third star with an assist. And we had 12,531 people in attendance. Joe Thornton was the first star, first one to score. That's the second time in a couple videos I've made that mistake. So I apologize. I'm not sure. I guess my brain gets on automatic or something. So Joe Thornton opened the scoring from Joe Nieuwendyk and Sheldon Surrey. It was 1-0 for the Sens after one. And then we scored our next 3 goals in the second period. Matt Cullen on the power play from Marian Hossa and Joe Thornton. And then Daniel Alfredson from Sami Salo and Alexei Yashin. And finally, Marian Hossa from Joe Thornton. 4-0 was the final score. And we finished the season with 125 points, which is nothing to sneeze at. Ooh, so Yanni Dinima in Boston is suspended to start the playoffs. He's going to miss 7 games. Wow, he might miss more than 1 round. Sergei Samsonov lights the lamp. He had a hat-trick, 3 goals against the Rangers. Oh, Mario Lemieux is hurt for 5 days. He should be fine for the start of the playoffs, but obviously that's going to hurt Pittsburgh if he's not 100%. All right. I'm going to sim all the way to where we're going to see what happened there? Strong night for Andy McDonald. I guess the season was not over. So he had a hat-trick, 3 goals against San Jose. So that's good for him, but I'm worried about what I'm seeing here. I didn't offer him a deal. What the heck? I didn't want to keep Roman Amerlik. So what happened is that when I did my contracts in February, like I do, I had originally given him a contract. And then I realized that I didn't want to keep him. And I retracted the offer, and now apparently it went through, like, what, 3 months later? That's stupid. Sure enough, that mofo has a contract now. Oh boy. Well, I'm going to be trying to trade him then. I don't know. That's obviously a bug. I don't know if it's because he landed on the injured reserve and that it messed up something in the back end. But there's no way that I retracted my offer. That shouldn't be going through. Wow. At least I can say at least I'm not in the salary cap era. That would be even worse. What a bug. Wow. All right. So who is a nominee for the art? We have Joe Sakic, Sergei Fyodorov, and Teemu Selanne. Vision is going to be between Chris Osgood, Marty Brodeur, and Patrick Roy. What about Mike Dunham? Well, Patrick Roy got 13 shutouts. That's pretty hard to beat. Norris is going to be between Lidstrom, Ray Bork, and Scott Niedermayer. The Calder between Andy McDonald, Chris Nielsen, and Kim Janssen. GM of the Year between Cliff Fletcher, Craig Patrick, and Pierre Pagé. No mention of me. I had 125 points. The Selkie is going to be between John Madden, Mike Modano, and Sergei Fyodorov. Lady Bing between Martin St. Louis, Patrick Eliash, and Steve Ruchin. The Mark Messier Leadership Award between Brian Leach, Joe Sakic, and Wayne Gretzky. Ted Lindsay between Sakic, Modano, and Fyodorov. And the Jack Adams is going to be between Brian Murray, Pierre Pagé, and Roger Nielsen. So Nielsen might win the Jack Adams. Alright, so do we have the playoff threes? Not yet. Alright, now they should be there. Alright, before I get started, I'm going to mute my microphone. I'm going to blow my nose and maybe swear a little bit in French because of that stupid contract extension I didn't want. So I will mute that. I'll be right back. Alright, I am back. Let's take a look at the playoff three. So, in the East, as we know, we are facing Toronto. Montreal is facing Pittsburgh. Boston against Carolina. And the Islanders against New Jersey. So I guess Carolina took over the third spot over the Tampa Bay Lightning. So Islanders, New Jersey, Boston, Carolina, Montreal, Pittsburgh, and Toronto, Ottawa. And in the West, it's going to be the Blackhawks against the Red Wings, the Oilers against the Avalanche, the Canucks against the Kings, and the Blues against Phoenix. Let's get this party started. Oh yeah. Starts in 2 days. Of course, we have home ice advantage because we were first. Alright, so let's take a look at their roster, see if they have any injuries or anything like that. So they have Trent McCleary. That's not going to play, but other than that, they are pretty healthy. Jean-Sébastien Giguère in net, and then the team is pretty average. Not great, not too bad. Alright, let's do this. First game. Oh, we're giving the net to Tim Thomas to start the playoffs. That's bold. Although, you know, he played the last 2 games of the season and got 2 shutouts. So, might make sense, including, against Toronto that we just played. All right, so they're sending Giguère in net. So go, Sens, go. And we win the first game, 6-1. Pretty good game. We outshot Toronto 47-23. Derek Morris was the first star of the game with a goal and 2 assists. I don't regret calling him up at all. Sheldon Surrey, second star, 2 assists. Alexei Yashin, third star with 2 assists as well. We had 14,674 people in attendance. It's a playoff game. We had 125 points in the season, 60 wins. Fix that. This is getting ridiculous. Marian Osa scored first here from Sheldon Surrey and Daniel Alfredson, and then Mike Sellinger from Magnus Arvidsson and Derek Morris. It was 2-0. Then Toronto did score a goal. It was 2-1, and then we scored twice more. So Derek Morris from Joe Thornton and Sheldon Surrey, and Bill Guerin on the power play from Yashin and Osa. It was already 4-1 after one. Then in the third period, Zdeno Chara scored from Datsuk and Nieuwendyk, and then Daniel Alfredson from Yashin and Derek Morris. 6-1 the final score. Pretty good first playoff game. Alright, and Vincent Danfous has a strong game for Montreal. He had 3 goals and 2 assists against Pittsburgh, so Montreal won the first game there. Open Ice leads to a productive night for Denis Briere, who had a goal and 4 assists against St. Louis. Alright, so let's see here. Vancouver took a 1-0 lead. Colorado, Phoenix, Chicago beat Detroit. Islanders beat New Jersey. We beat Toronto. Carolina won 2-0 against Boston. Alright. Roman Amerlik is doing better. Yeah, he's still hurt too, so he's staying on the injured reserve. Alright, game 2. So, same goaltenders, Giguère and Thomas in net for their respective teams. Ooh, we lost 2-1. So, Toronto comes back in the series with a pretty good game here. They actually outshot us 28-27, so they figured us out, huh? 14,111 people in attendance. Thomas Caberly was the first star. He had a goal. Marian Osa, the second star with an assist. And Dmitry Mironov was the third star with an assist as well. Nobody scored in the first period. Then Sheldon Surrey opened the scoring in the second on the power play from Marian Osa and Joe Nieuwendyk. But then Prospol scored on the power play before the end of the second, made it tied at 1, and then Thomas Caberly, with a little bit more than 6 minutes to go in the third, scored the game winner, and that was it. We lost 2-1. Alright, Amerlik is ready to come back. Well, that didn't take long for Brian Berard to flame out. He's only a 1-star player anymore with a 1-star potential. Then you come back up. There you go. Derek Morris has been doing pretty good, so I'm going to keep him. There's no reason to send him down. Alright, we are playing in Toronto. Oh, I forgot to look at the other games. Alright, so in the West, most series are tied at 1, except Phoenix is up 2-0 on St. Louis. And we are the only tied series in the East, which means Montreal, Carolina, and the New York Islanders are up 2-0 in their series. All right, Tim Thomas in net for us again. Jean-Sébastien Giguère in net for Toronto again. We are playing on the road in Toronto. Go Sens go! And we won 5-2. That's good. Andreas Dackel was the first star. He had 2 goals. Brian McCabe, the second star with an assist. And Sami Salo, third star with a goal. We outshot Toronto 34-20. Alright, so we took a 2-0 lead in the first. Dackel scored from Cullen, and then Sami Salo from Nieuwendyk and Joe Thornton. That was 2-0 after 1. Then Marian Osa scored from Yashin and Alfredson to make it 3-0. And then Toronto scored 3-1. We scored again. Yashin on the power play from Osa. And then Toronto scored again. It was 4-2. And then finally in the third period, Andreas Dackel scored in an empty net from Brian McCabe, made it 5-2. And we have a 2-1 lead into the first round. Sergei Fyodorov is hurt. So he is day-to-day with forearm stiffness. Alright, let's see here. So Vancouver took a 2-1 lead. Colorado took a 2-1 lead in their series. St. Louis won, so it's 2-1 Phoenix in that one. Chicago took a 2-1 lead against Detroit. New Jersey won, so now the Islanders are up 2-1 in their series. We're up 2-1. Boston is training Carolina 2-1, and same for Pittsburgh, training Montreal 2-1. Alright, we are playing in Toronto again. Thomas again, Giguère again for them. So we need to score some goals again. Go Sens go! And we won 5-2 again. Oh, we completely dominated that one, 55-27 for the shots. Marian Osa was the first star. He had 2 goals and an assist. Chris Phillips was the second star with an assist. And Joe Thornton, the third star with 2 assists. Bill Guerin scored on the power play from Osa and Sheldon Surrey. It was 1-0 Sens after 1. And then Osa scored on the power play from Surrey and Yashin. And then Osa again from Phillips and Thornton. It was 3-0. Prospol scored on the power play for Toronto. It was 3-1 for the Sens after 2. And then Joe Nieuwendyk scored from Datsuk and Thornton. It was 4-1. Todd Marchand scored for Toronto. But then Magnus Arvidsson scored from Shara and Surrey. It was 5-2 for the Sens at that point in the third. That score held. And there we go. Brad Larson improves at right wing. Good for you. Yeah, not a scoring machine, Brad Larson, eh? 3 points in 38 games, 3 assists. That's okay. I need some defensive players. I can't only have superstars that fill the net. All right. LA came back in their series. It's tied at 2. Edmonton and Colorado's tied at 2. Phoenix leads St. Louis 3-1. Detroit came back, tied it at 2. Islanders up 3-1 on New Jersey. We're up 3-1 on Toronto. Carolina is up 3-1 on Boston. And Montreal up 3-1 on Pittsburgh. Wow. There's a few surprises in there. Carolina, of all people, with their 71 points on the season, is about to get rid of Boston at this rate. All right. So Giguère in net for Toronto. Thomas in net for us. And we have eliminated the Maple Leafs in the first round with a 4-1 win back at home. So 5 games. We outshot them 33-21. 14,905 people in attendance. Bill Guerin was the first star. He had 2 assists. Sami Salo, the second star, he had a goal. And Pavel Datsyuk was the third star with an assist. So Roman Hamrlik scored from Brian McCabe and Pavel Datsyuk. And then Sheldon Surrey from Bill Guerin and Andreas Dackl. It was 2-0 for the Suns after 1. And then nobody scored in the second. Then Petr Popovich, of all people, scored short-handed in the third period, made it 2-1 for the Suns with like 4 minutes and 9 seconds to go. But shortly after, Alexei Yashin scored on the power play from Bill Guerin and Joe Nieuwendyk. And Sami Salo from Chris Phillips and Mike Sillinger made it 4-1. It was too much. And we are going to the second round. Jaromir Jagr has a good game. He had a hat-trick, 3 goals against Montreal. Oh, Chris Phillips got hurt, but he's only day-to-day. Bruised forehead. Not sure how that happened. Like, did he get punched in the forehead, or... Okay. Vancouver won, Colorado won. St. Louis is still alive. Detroit took a 3-2 lead, I believe. New Jersey is still alive. Boston still alive. But Montreal eliminated Pittsburgh despite Jaromir Jagr's hat trick. Did I get that right? Yeah, those series are all 3-2. And us and Montreal are moving to the second round. All right. Right, Vancouver won. St. Louis tied it at 3 apiece. Edmonton won. New Jersey won. Carolina eliminated Boston. It happened. Then Detroit won against Chicago. All right. Alright, so Detroit's going to the second round. Vancouver's going to the second round. Carolina's going to the second round. Oh, I think that... I don't know what that means. Oh, Ulf Samuelsson in Phoenix got suspended. He's going to miss 3 games. Now, did his team move on or not? Alright, so New Jersey finally eliminates the Islanders. Edmonton eliminates Colorado, and Phoenix does eliminate St. Louis. So our second round matchup is the Montreal Canadiens. So is Patrick Roy going to steal the show, or are we going to continue on our domination of the Habs? We did win all the games against them this season, and I was pretty proud of that. So I guess now we have to beat them in the playoffs. Avenge something that happened in the past. Alright, at least Chris Phillips is back and ready. Alright, well, let's do this. Let's take a look first. Let's see if they have any injuries or anything like that. Oh yeah, they do have Ed Jovanovski. I remember, like, he has that super long injury. Other than that, everybody is healthy in Montreal. Alright, playing at home, first game of the second round against the Montreal Canadiens, whom we have not lost a game against this season. They're going with Patrick Roy net. We are still giving the net to Tim Thomas. Why not? He's been pretty damn good in the first round. So let's get going. And we lose the first game, 4-2. Is Montreal going to eliminate us again? I hope not. Oh, Tim Thomas had a shitty game. We outshot Montreal 43-18. Tim Thomas allowed 4 goals on 18 shots, unless there was an empty netter there somewhere. That's not good. And Montreal took a whole bunch of penalties too. We just couldn't capitalize. So Patrick was told the show here. We had 15,160 people in attendance. Vincent D'Anfous was the first star of the game. He had 2 goals and an assist. Brian McCabe was the second star with 2 assists. And Patrick Roy with 41 saves was the third star. So Montreal took a 2-0 lead in the first. And then Matt Cullen scored at the start of the second from McCabe and Dackel. It was 2-1. And then D'Anfous scored, made it 3-1. Bill Guerin brought us back within a goal, assisted by Hammerlick and McCabe. It was 3-2. But then Daryl Shannon scored, made it 4-2, and that was our final score. Nobody scored in the third period. Right, not the start we wanted for the second round here against Montreal. And now we're playing the second game. Oh, I forgot to check who won again for the other games. Let's see. Edmonton won against Detroit. Vancouver won against Phoenix. And New Jersey won against Carolina. Alright, Patrick Roy and Tim Thomas. So Tim Thomas had a stinker. We're going to forgive him and send him in for the second game. We lost 3-2. That's not good. Now we've completely lost home ice advantage. Again, we completely dominated that game. 51-28 the shot, but we faced Patrick Roy that was in great shape again. 14,800 people in attendance. Scott Thornton from Montreal was the first star. He had an assist. Sheldon Surrey, a goal and an assist, was the second star. Patrick Roy, 49 saves, was the third star. So Montreal took a 3-0 lead into the first period. That was played right there. And then in the second, Sillinger scored from Arvidsson and Sheldon Surrey, made it 3-1. And then in the third, Surrey scored from Andreas Dackel, gave us some hope. It was 3-2, but nobody else could score, and we lost 3-2. Derek Morris converts to left defense. Okay, so you're gonna be playing on your off hand, huh? No further action needed for Carolina's Pat Verbeek, so not suspended. Teemu Selanne has a great game. He had 3 goals, hat trick. So let's see, Vancouver won, Edmonton won again, and Carolina won against New Jersey. That's interesting. All right, we need to not get swept here. I'm not gonna be happy. I'm gonna blame it on the signing of Roman Amerlik that I never wanted. All right, who do I want to? It would be great when you have to select somebody to go to the Hall of Fame if you could like see their career stats. That probably would help make a decision. I guess Neil Broughton is fine. Alright, now the series moves to Montreal. Are we going to be able to steal the 2 games in Montreal to make it a series again? We're sticking to Tim Thomas. That's maybe not what I would do, but Roger Nielsen knows best, right? He's in nomination for the Jack Adams. And then Patrick Roy, of course, in net for Montreal. He's been lights out for them. And we lost 5-2. We are down 3-0 against the Habs. I don't like it. Anybody but the Habs. Alright, again, we outshot them 41-28. We're doing everything we can, but Patrick was too strong. Patrice Brisebois was the first star. He had a goal and 2 assists. Andrei Markov, a goal and 2 assists, was the second star. And Patrick Roy, yet again, third star with 39 saves. We actually took a 1-0 lead in that game. Guerin scored on the power play from Yashin and Sheldon Surrey. And then Andrei Markov tied the game. It was 1-1 after 1. And then Montreal scored twice in the second period. It was 3-1 after 2. And then Alfredson scored sometime in the third period to make it 4-2 from Marian Hossa and Alexei Yashin. But there was only 2 minutes and 25 seconds left to go in the game. And then Patrice Brisebois scored in an empty net. And that was it, 5-2. So now we need to win 4 games in a row. 4 games in a row. Well, we won 5 in a row against Montreal in the regular season. Alright, Ulf Samuelsson is back in the lineup in Phoenix. Alright. Vancouver won, Detroit finally won a game, and New Jersey won, so I think we're the only team that's trailing 3-0. No, Phoenix is trailing 3-0 as well. Edmonton is up 2-1, New Jersey is up 2-1. Yeah. That might be the last hockey game we play in 2000 and 2001. Might be right there, folks. We need to win this. Looks like we're going to die with some Thomas in net. They're bringing Patrick Roy, so come on. I need for Marian Hossa and, Yashin to have a great game here. They've been pretty quiet against Montreal. We won 5-1. We're still alive, bringing it back in Ottawa for Game 5. All right, we outshot them 44-28. Daniel Alfredson was the first star. He had a goal and an assist. Zdeno Chara was the second star with 2 assists. And Alexei Yashin, third star with 2 goals. So we took a 2-0 lead in the first. Alfredson from Sillinger. And then Brad Larson from Chara and Magnus Arvidsson. 2-0 after 1. Then Joe Nieuwendyk scored unassisted in the second, and then Yashin from Chara and Hossa made it 4-0 after 2. And then we traded goals in the third period. John Leclerc scored, but then Alexei Yashin scored from Alfredson and Chris Phillips, made it 5-1. Are we making a comeback? We are about to find out. Teemu Selanne has a great game, so his team is also still alive. He scored 4 goals. Took things into his own hands. Took matters into his own hands. Alright, so New Jersey won. We won. Phoenix won. Edmonton won. Wow. Are we going to be coming all the way back into the series? That'd be fun. Alright, we're playing at home again. Patrick Roy and Tim Thomas in net. Come on, Tim. I need you. And we lost 4-1. Oh boy, we lost in 5 against Montreal. I am not too happy with that. Again, completely outshot Montreal 48-20, but we faced Patrick Roy, and he was too strong. Valérie Bourré was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. Patrick Roy, 47 saves, was the second star, and John Leclerc, third star, 2 assists. 14,922 people in attendance. We actually took a 1-0 lead in this game. Bill Guerin scored on the power play from Nieuwendyk and Yashin. It was 1-0 for us, but then Montreal scored 4 goals unanswered in the third period and ran away with the game and the series. Well, that's very disappointing. After such a great season, I was at least hoping to make it to the conference finals. Alright, Edmonton is up 3-2 against Detroit. Vancouver is up 3-2 against Phoenix. New Jersey is up 3-2 against Carolina. Vancouver eliminated Phoenix. Detroit is back in the tied the series at 3, and New Jersey eliminated Carolina. So there's 1 series left in the West. It's going to be Whoever wins against between Edmonton and Detroit is going to the conference finals, and that will be Detroit. All right, so Vancouver and Detroit in the west, and Montreal and New Jersey in the east. So I think Detroit is probably going to win, but I'm really cheering for New Jersey right now. I want for them to eliminate Montreal. All right, so okay. New Jersey won 3-2 and Vancouver won 4-3. So those were the first games in the conference finals. New Jersey won again. That's good. Vancouver won again as well. So New Jersey and Vancouver are both up 2-0 in their respective series. Vancouver won again. Montreal came back. So Vancouver is up 3-0 against Detroit. That's pretty impressive. Montreal did win. They are trailing 2-1 against New Jersey. New Jersey won. They're up 3-1, and Vancouver swept Detroit. Wow, I was not expecting that. So New Jersey is up 3-1. Vancouver swept Detroit in the conference finals. So Vancouver is going to the Stanley Cup Finals, and they're gonna face the winner between the Devils and the Montreal Canadiens. And New Jersey got rid of Montreal pretty easy. So New Jersey didn't have a problem scoring against Montreal, against Patrick Roy. I mean, they've won a lot of games with 4, 5, and 6 goals. So they were able to, we weren't. That was the difference, because we dominated every single game for the shots and everything with like pretty large margins too. So we just couldn't get past Patrick Roy. Alright, so the Stanley Cup Finals in 2000 and 2001 is going to be between the Vancouver Canucks and the New Jersey Devils. So let's see who wins this. New Jersey took a 1-0 lead into the series with a 6-3 victory. Alright, and New Jersey took a 2-0 lead with a 2-1 win. So they won both of their home games. Now the series is going to Vancouver, completely at the other side of the continent. New Jersey won 5-4, so they're up 3-0 in the Stanley Cup Finals. Is that going to be a sweep? Vancouver won 4-1. They're back into the series, or at least they avoided elimination. New Jersey is up 3-1. The series goes back to New Jersey. And New Jersey won 4-0. They won the Stanley Cup in 5 games. So the New Jersey Devils are the Stanley Cup champions. So that pretty much aligns with when they were winning the Cup around those years. So that kind of makes sense. One team that doesn't make a lot of sense is Montreal, because they were terrible around the turn of the century. yeah, they really struggled. Of course, they didn't have Patrick Roy in net anymore or anything like that, so it was pretty tough for them over there. But in my universe, they're still pretty good. Alright, the Devils are champions, we knew that. Colorado Avalanche Center takes home Hart Trophy, so Joe Sakic wins the Hart. He had 113 points on the season, so pretty good season for Joe Sakic. Connie Smythe for Patrick Elias, so they gave Elias the Connie Smythe. Patrick Roy wins the Vizina. Why not? He was, at least against us in the playoffs, he was really good. Norris goes to Nick Lidstrom. 90 points in 75 games. I say, yeah, you deserve it, buddy. Kim Johnson won the Calder. So he had 63 points in 69 games as a defenseman for Edmonton. Wow. That's a really good season. Craig Patrick announced as GM of the Year for Pittsburgh. The Selkie goes to John Madden. Sundin wins the Maurice Richard, so he scored the most goals. 58 goals for Matt Sundin. Steve Yzerman wins the Art Russ, so he was the best scorer in the league. He had 116 points. Sergei Fedorov wins the plus-minus award. He finished at plus 55. Wow. Roger Crozier Saving Grace Award goes to Dominic Hasek. Buffalo had a terrible season. Oh, Mike Dunham wins the Jennings. He had a pretty good season, Mike Dunham, but it looks like we're kind of splitting games in Ottawa. We don't have a clear starter that plays. Back in the 2000, a starter would play 77 games. Like, Marty Brodeur never wanted to have a day off. I mean, he's been on record saying, I don't need a day off. Why do I want a day off? Why wouldn't I want to play? So, Elias overjoyed after winning the Lady Byng. Silani wins the Bill Masterton. I'm not sure why. He didn't miss any time or anything. Huh. Okay. The Mark Messier Leadership Award goes to Joe Sakic. And he also wins the Ted Lindsay. Oh, Roger Nielsen did win the Jack Adams. We had a 60-17-5 record. That's pretty good, but we crumbled to pieces in the playoffs against Montreal. So that happened. The two All-Star teams have been declared, and we finally got one of our players to be on one of those. Sheldon Surrey on the second team on D. Sheldon Surrey did get 61 points in 82 games, so that was a pretty good season. I'm pretty happy with that. That was a good pickup. Picking up Sheldon Surrey was a pretty good move. He's playing pretty good. Alright, scouting reports and then development report because it's June 1st. Alright, so we are going to... Oh, Joe Nieuwendyk is a 3-star player now. Getting older, Joe. Getting older. You did get a dip in points there. Alright, so that's it for our playoff run. Sadly, it didn't go as far as well as I was hoping. There's changes that are going to need to come. I'm going to save my game. And I'm going to need to figure what I want to do out. As usual, whenever I start the next video, it's going to be on July 1st. I'm going to sim through this month and give extensions to, staff that I want to keep and things of the such. I might try to trade Roman Amerlik because I didn't want to sign him. That's a terrible, terrible, terrible bug to have. Like I mentioned, imagine if it would have happened during the cap era where you don't have room to sign a player like that. Where you don't have room at all for that to happen. I mean, there's no reason for it to happen. So, as usual, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. And if you've liked the video, feel free to like and subscribe. And until I roll this game again, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.